From one awesome team, the Lakers, to another, the Philadelphia Eagles. I know they've had some up and downs under Sirianni, but the numbers don't lie, Colin. He has been a juggernaut on the road since taking over in 2021. Sirianni has Philly 22-9 in road games. They're 4-1 this season, including a neutral site home win in Brazil. The Eagles are in LA Sunday. Now, be careful with this game. You know it's going to be 70% Eagles fans here. That's the Eagles fans travel well. They're looking to get out of the East Coast, get to the West Coast. Sirianni talked about the big road matchups.
It's just an opportunity for you to unite as a team, lock arms as a team, and, have that mental toughness, that dog mentality as far as understanding, just play the next play, control what you can control, and unite as a team. And so those are two of our big-time core values of, connect and toughness. And, and so we take pride in that. And I just think it speaks volumes of our players and coaches that, that they handle that.
Yeah. What happens if Nick hoists a Super Bowl trophy?
Oh, come on.
What am I going to do then?
You didn't even have him in your top 3 of the Blazing 5, did you? You're still a little lukewarm on the Eagles, are you not?
No, I'm not lukewarm on the roster. I love the roster. I love it.
You just don't like the coach.
It's not that I don't like the coach. I think he is maturing. Generally, you hire a coach for an organization like Philadelphia, and he's ready to go. This is an adult job. It's not a player. He's a coach. So he's had multiple coordinator jobs, and he feels like a coach. Nick feels like he was a position coach and then a coordinator. In his first year with the team, he felt like almost a position coach and a coordinator more than a head coach. I think he's had his hand slapped a couple of times, and he's growing up. So for the record, not everybody is absolutely ready for an adult job when they're 35 years old. So I get that. But, John with fans and that stuff, I don't like that stuff. I'm not into that stuff.
How do you like this matchup with the Rams? This is an interesting game.
I think
I don't see why it's 2.5. I'm surprised the Eagles aren't 3.
I agree.
They're much stronger in the trenches than the Rams.
I watched Miami go to Los Angeles and completely control the Rams. And I don't think Miami or the Rams rosters compare to Philadelphia's. So that's one of my picks this week. I like Philadelphia.
Maybe I'm missing something. Stafford and the wide receivers against the young, exciting whites or whatever they call them, the cornerbacks for Philly. It's a tough one because I'll be rooting Rams. I'm kind of a Rams fan out here. Yeah. Chargers, same thing. But that's a great matchup. And listen, Sirianni, we can bag on him all we want, Colin. The numbers are there.
No,
the numbers don't lie. He's been pretty good.
I admit he can wear me out, but the roster it's very good.
Speaking.
Okay, let's talk about this because for those of you who maybe don't know, Colin obviously doesn't like Sirianni. You guys know that. But what Colin says is that the mark of a great team and the mark of a well-coached team is being able to win on the road, right? It's a lot easier, obviously, to win at home and this, that, and the third. You're going to face a lot more adversity. You got to travel. You got to keep your team together and organized. And, it all starts with leadership. And so being great on the road really flies in the face of Colin saying that Sirianni isn't a good coach or that people don't like him or whatever it may be. And that's why he was kind of like, if they hoist a trophy, like, what am I going to do with that? And it is so interesting. I still stand by that the Philadelphia Eagles are too elite and long-standing of a franchise to not have an elite head coach who is the true brains of the organization in terms of like what they're doing either offensively or defensively. It will always make me uncomfortable having a coach that is more of like a walk-around coach just because you are so reliant on your coordinators. Right now, this offense is really humming along, and let's say they do win a Super Bowl. There's a great chance that Kellen Moore then gets offered to be the head coach of the Chicago Bears, and he'll probably take it or something. And it's one of those things where it's like, okay, now who's the OC? Again, now you got to play that dance again, that song and dance again, and that's the thing that can be trouble and get exhausting. There's a reason why these dynasty teams that have such sustained excellence year after year after year, typically their head coach is going to be the true force on one side of the ball, either offense or defense. So I will remain consistent on that. But at the same time, a coach like Sirianni can really thrive when he has great coordinators, because he does connect with the team. He can lead the charge. The team obviously does respect him and buy into everything that he says. He has a little bit of that Harbaugh feel, where he obviously just loves the game so much, so intense, really, really makes the players feel that they're ready to do something special. And, Colin loves Harbaugh. Granted, Harbaugh obviously has an unbelievable track record no matter where he goes and whatnot. But, you can ask the question about Dan Campbell and be like, where would he be without Ben Johnson? What would that offense look like without Ben Johnson? Right? And again, I think Dan Campbell's great. I love what he's been able to do with Detroit. And I know a lot of Philadelphia Eagles fans always point out, well, how many Super Bowls has Dan Campbell been to? And it's like, look what the Eagles have done. So, hopefully, from just an entertainment standpoint, we get to see the Eagles Lions NFC Championship game. Let's go, right? Like that, they are the two best teams in the NFC, and you want to see the best teams play each other in the playoffs. So I really hope we get that, and then it's going to be fascinating to see, right? Like, because these are two coaches, Sirianni and Dan Campbell, that many people, even their own fan bases, but definitely just the outside fans as well, had questions about those coaches. They both have an unbelievable roster. Their coaches seem to go both high and low in terms of the media perception of them. One minute they love Dan Campbell. The next minute they're like, I don't trust him. What's he doing? One minute they're like, Sirianni's great. No, Sirianni's awful. Sirianni's great, right? Like it's a lot of whiplash, honestly, with both of these coaches. They both have had great coordinators on both sides of the ball, quite frankly, and really smart GMs. Like there's a lot of parallels, honestly. The only difference is, the big difference is that the Eagles have actually like won a Super Bowl. They've had longer, more sustained success. That historically they've been significantly better. So it's going to be fascinating because Colin, again, doesn't trust Sirianni in big moments, and he doesn't trust Dan Campbell in big moments, and yet these are the top teams. So it's just it's storylines like this I always find really fascinating, honestly. And again, that's why this road record is being highlighted, because it's just like it goes counter to Colin's belief system, which is okay. It doesn't mean that what Colin is saying is wrong. It doesn't mean that. It just, there's exceptions to the rules, and or he's wrong about Sirianni, that Sirianni is actually a good coach. And again, to be fair, then I would be wrong as well, because I've never hidden that I'm not a huge Nick Sirianni fan. I'm not anti Nick Sirianni. It's just I believe that the Eagles are so iconic, so special, so highly run that they deserve to have a GOAT coach. They deserve to have one of those bona fide top 5 coaches in the NFL that people say he's not going anywhere. Any team would be desperate to have a coach like that. And again, I recognize that that's easier said than done, but that is who I believe the Philadelphia Eagles deserve to have, because they have that with the owner. They have one of the best owners in the NFL. They have one of the best GMs in the NFL, right? They have one of the best fan bases in the NFL. Like, they have those things. They haven't been able to find that with coaching. And we know that to be true because we saw Chip Kelly, Peterson, Sirianni. Like there's always been that consistent uneasiness with the coaching position. They had that in Andy Reid, who then obviously, went on to Kansas City, and we don't have to turn this into a whole Andy Reid debate, but I think that's kind of what the Eagles are deserving to have as a franchise. So it's never, any of my issues with Nick Sirianni aren't necessarily meant to kind of rip him or just be like he's this bad coach or this, that, and the third. But it'll be interesting. It'll be cool to see if he continues to evolve and grow as a coach and can continue to manage this thing. J-Mac is definitely really high on the Eagles. He really believes that the Eagles can win the Super Bowl. So that'll be fascinating to see. But the Rams game will be harder than I think people think, because I think the Rams are legit and are really good. But it'll be interesting to see. I think the Eagles do pretty well with these less immobile quarterbacks. I think the mobile quarterbacks can always be a little tricky, especially with a younger defensive team. But I think some of these more immobile quarterbacks, like we saw what the Eagles did to, say, Daniel Jones, what they were able to do to Joe Burrow and whatnot. And so Matthew Stafford is definitely going to be closer to that than anything. And I know Daniel Jones has some mobility to him, but he's obviously not, he's obviously not Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson here. So yeah, the Eagles should definitely obviously be in a great spot to win. But 2.5 points on the road, it's something, I guess. The Rams, right, they don't really have the home field advantage. It's always that weird situation with them, so it's kind of hard to really look too much into the spread. But that's what J-Mac's kind of saying, that it feels low to him, that they should be favored more than that. So yeah, I'm excited for that game. Sunday night, prime time. Let's go. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Philadelphia Eagles? The whole road record, is it an indicator that Sirianni is for real, that he's actually a legit coach and can control his team and has his team bought in? Or do you think no, it's just more that their roster is just stacked? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I'd absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.